Assalamu alaikum friends and welcome back to lesson number 5 from Madina book 3. This is question number 2. So let's understand the question first. Question number 2 says Tamil al-misal lil fail ajwaf. So what is fail ajwaf? Let's understand the word ajwaf. Ajwaf means middle, something which is in the middle. Al-mabni lil majhul. Mabni in the sense the past tense are always mabni. And here you will learn how to make into a passive voice from the past tense and from the present tense. So you will learn to make a passive tense from both the past and the present, and they both have different rules. But first of all, why these kind of verbs are taken? So in this lesson, you will learn different type of verbs. So the first type you will learn are those verbs in which you will see that in the middle, as you know, the triliteral verb is a three-letter verb, but the middle letter is a weak letter. So that's why it is called ajwaf. Something in the middle, it is weak, and that is what you call it a naqis. Something weak, something unusual. So here you will see all these verbs which have a weak letter alif in between. For example, qala, ba, saqa, zara, zada. So all these are similar verbs, similar structure verbs which have a weak letter in between. So before I start this exercise, let's understand the rules, the grammatical way how you make a structure of a passive tense. So let's go and check my whiteboard where I have prepared all these rules. So first of all, we will do the past tense. So in the past tense, let's first understand fail mabni lil ma'lum. So what is fail mabni lil ma'lum? Mabni means the past tense which are always mabni. And here lil ma'lum means you know. Ma'lum means the known. So in all these, as I have taken these simple examples, in all these verbs, you know the file. The file is known. That's why it is called fail mabni lil ma'lum. So fa'ala, kataba, shariba, in all these fail, you know the file. Where is the file? It's hidden inside. It's the damir. You know the damir. It's a he or a she or anything. A file may come as a noun. For example, if you see the example here, I have taken very simple examples. كتب الولد الدرس. So as you know that the formula of uh, sentence jumlatul failure is fail plus file. Immediately after the fail comes the file and then comes the maf'ulun bihi. So if you go along with this formula, you can see the fail here and the file. And as you know, the file is always in the marfu case. And then comes the maf'ulun bihi, and it always have a fatha. So the moment you need to change this simple jumla failure into a jumla majhul, the formula you're going to use is this: passive tense plus the doer is deleted and there is a naibul file. So there are two main parts. First part, passive tense. The second part is naibul file. So one may ask, what is this naibul file? Naib, what is naib? Naib means representative. So how do you get this naibul file? Let's check. What I have done here is, if you can just see here, katabal waladu ad-darsa. In this example, you have a fail, you have a file, and you have a maful bihi. But what happens when you have a majhul sentence? You only have a fail, which is now become a passive tense fail, and only a naibul file. So how you're getting it? So to make a verb into a majhul verb, the changes you need to bring are, for example, if I take kataba, you can see the fatha, fatha, fatha on all the three letters. So what happens when you want to make this simple verb into majhul, you simply need to change the haraka. For example, the first letter, the second letter, and the third letter. Now I'm doing this change on the triliteral verb. So the first letter gets a dhamma. The second last letter, always count from the last. The second last letter gets a kasra. So if I can just rub this off and put a haraka, the second last letter gets a kasra, and the third letter will have the usual fatha, as you can see the ba having the fatha. So if you keep your verb, now becomes ku ti ba. So you will put the first letter and the second letter and the third letter. So you're going to put a dhamma over the first letter, the kasra on the second last letter, haraka as it had originally. So it became kutiba. So now it has become a fail majhul. As you can see here, kutiba. Now, when you want to make a majhul sentence. This was all about changing a simple verb into a majhul verb. But now, what are you going to do? Now you are going to make a majhul sentence. So first of all, you need to change simple verb into majhul. Now, what are you going to do with the other parts of the sentence? So when you want to make a majhul sentence, cancel the doer. The file is deleted. So in this case, al-waladu will be deleted. Now, when you delete the file, what happens? What happens up on the maful bihi? The maful bihi comes in the place of the file and plays the role of the file. In order to play the role of the file, it loses its haraka fatha and takes the haraka of the file. And now it has become naibul file. Why? Now it is representing the file. So it has taken the dhamma also and lost its fatha. So basically in majhul sentence, you have two main parts. The passive tense, the first part, and naibul file, the second part. So this is now a majhul sentence, right? Now, what is the formula for this sentence? Fail mabni lil majhul. As I said, you have to change the simple verb into majhul verb. So that's why now it's fail mabni lil majhul. Why mabni? Because you made the past tense into majhul. Hadaf al file. So you need to remove the file. So that this is what I have given just to make you understand. But there is only two parts, naibul file. The second part is naibul file. And what is this naibul file? Originally, it was maful bihi. The maful bihi came in the place of the file, took the dhamma, and now it's representing the file. So now it is no longer called maful bihi. Now it is called naibul file. So this is the first part and this is the second part. And in order to change all these, I have given you the structure of the majhul verbs. Fail mabni lil majhul. So here you can see fail mabni lil majhul. It was here fail mabni lil ma'lum. And in this case, you don't need to put a file here because file is deleted. That's why it is called lil majhul. Majhul, something hidden. And I have given here the formula of the simple sentence fail, file, and maful bihi. The moment you change into a majhul sentence, what will be the formula? If I can just remove it a bit. Fail, naibul file. Fail plus naibul file. This naibul file was originally the maful bihi. So this is the basic understanding of the verb, how it changes to majhul. Now let's go back to the question. So in this question, you have one column of Madi and the other for the Mudare, and these are special kind of verbs called as fail ajwaf. As I told, ajwaf means middle, and these are the verbs which have a weak letter in between. So what is the weak letter here? The weak letter is alif. And before I start, in order to do the majhul, let me just make you understand a small information on the alif. Let's see. So you are going to do questions in this lessons, and you will come across lot of verbs where there will be a change from alif to waw to ya constantly. So in order to understand why it has changed to waw, why is that changed to ya, so you have come across in question number 2 fail ajwaf al-wawi, then you will do the fail ajwaf al-ya'i. So what is this waw and ya? Those past tense verbs which have an alif in between, as you saw in question number 2, qala and ba'a. So why does alif changes to waw and ya? There is some information on the alif, as whenever you come across on all these verbs with an alif in between, know that the alif is not the original root letter of the verb. What is the original root letter? It is either the alif is not, as I said, not an original root letter, but it is either waw or ya. So for example, qala means he said. So in this verb you have an alif in between. That means this alif is not original. So what is the original root letter of qala? It is qa, wa and la. So originally it is qawwala. But what happened in those days? The Arabs, they didn't like to pronounce qawwala, qawwala. It was some kind of heaviness in between. So in order to pronounce easily, what they did, they changed this waw into alif, and qala came into existence. So this was much easier to pronounce. So they took alif in between and changed the structure of qawwala. So there are some verb, they also have, for example, ba. They also have a weak letter alif in between. But in order uh, to make a structure, the alif is not, as you know, the alif is not an original letter here. When this verb changes its structure, it becomes ya. So you will see this in making it into a majhul. You will see that the ba'a is changed into ba, ya, a. So the original root letter for ba'a is ba, ya, and a. So similarly, what the Arabs did, they removed the ya and gave an alif, and baya'a became ba'a. So the original root letter was ya. So what I said is, originally original alif is not an original letter, but original letters are either waw or ya. So similarly, there are a lot of verbs you have seen in the exercise. Now let's go on and see how they change their structure. So the first one here in Mabni lil Ma'lum. So this is the normal past tense, and as I told you, it has a weak letter in between. So in order to make it into Majhul, what happened? This alif changed to ya. It becomes qila. So one may ask, like, it was the when you make it into a majhul, the first letter has a dhamma and the second last letter has a kasra and the last one has the original haraka. Why it has a kasra on the first letter? It's because of this letter ya. This ya is forcing the previous letter to take a kasra. As you know, the ya goes along with kasra, alif goes along with fatha, and waw goes along with dhamma on the previous letter. So that's why it's qila. And now if you see in the present tense, when you make a present tense from qala to present tense, you can see the alif is changed to waw. So that's why, as I said, alif may either change to waw or it may either change to ya. So this is the set of verbs where it will only change to waw. So you can see yaqulu. So why qaf is having a dhamma? Because of the waw. It goes along with the waw. So the previous letter will take the corresponding harakas. So yaqulu. And now let's first see all the verbs here. Ba, as I said, it is a verb where alif is changed to ya. So here also the alif is changed to ya, and that's why ba is having a kasra. It became bi'a. So in order to make a majhul, when you come across a fail where there is an alif in between, always remember it will change to ya. And now let's see saqa. So let's try to make saqa. So it will become siqa. Seen with kasra ya, and there is qaf. And qaf will have the similar haraka as before. For zara means to visit, saqa means to the one who gives you to drink, and zara to visit. So it will become zira. So you will go along with the same structure, changing alif to ya. Zada to increase, zida. So it's taking the same structure. So this is an exception. The last verb has an exception, and you will see why it has an exception here in the present tense. So changing khafa to majhul as khifa. Khifa. So now let's go on to see the present tense. As you know, as I've marked it as the exception here. Let's see. From qala becomes present tense yaqulu. As I said, the alif will change to waw here. So you need to know and memorize that the alif in these kind of verbs is changing to waw. So all these you need to memorize. So yaqulu. Now coming to majhul form. In the present tense, how you're going to change the present tense into majhul. So let's see. First of all, let's check how to change the present tense into majhul. So it is a bit different. So as you can see here again, فعل مبني للمعلوم. So this is all simple present tense. يفعل, يقتل, and يشرب. So actually I have taken three different kind of verbs, and here you can see the ta having a dhamma. So there is a reason why I took this fail. So first of all, I have given the examples here. Yashrabu al-waladu ash-shaya. So this is a simple jumla failure, and you can see a jumla, I mean the simple present tense here, yashrabu. So in order to make it majhul, how you're going to change the present tense into majhul? Simple. You will just put the first letter. As you know, there are 4 dashes here I've taken, and the present tense have 4 letter. So the first letter, so I will give a number here in order to make you understand. 2, 3, and 4. So the first letter is the harf mudare, yaf'alu. As you can see, there is a harf mudare ya here. So the first harf mudare will receive a dhamma. So this is how you make it into majhul. Leave the second. What is the second last letter? Count from the last. Second last letter, we land up on the third letter. So don't count from 1, 2, 3, but always second last. So the change of haraka happens on the second last letter. So what is the second last? The third letter. What is the third letter? The ain. So it will always have a fatha. And what about the last letter? The same usual haraka. It will have the same usual haraka. What about the second letter? The usual, it will have a sukoon. So where is the change here? Only on the first letter and the second last letter. So that's how you make the simple present tense into majhul. So let's check here. What about yaf'alu? It became yuf'alu. And now let's see. Yaqtulu, what happens? It became yuqtalu. Yaktalu. So the Dhamma on the Ta changed to Fatha. So the first harf mudare and the second last letter will have a change of haraka. What about yashrabu? As you can see, yushrabu. So this is how you will make a present tense, simple present tense into majhul. You can see the example here actually. Yashrabu al-waladu ash-shaya. So now you're going to change a simple jumla failure into majhul jumla. So yashrabu al-waladu, remove the doer. And now what happens? Change the fail from yashrabu to yushrabu and then removing the file. Now you need to take the maful bihi in place of the file. In order to take when the maful bihi takes the place of the file, what happens? The fatha is removed and it takes the dhamma. Now this is the naibul file. And this is the passive tense. So it has only two parts, the passive tense and the naibul file. So this is about how you change the present tense into majhul. Now let's go back to the present tense examples. So you can see yaqulu becomes yuqalu. So when it takes the structure of the majhul in present tense, what happens? The waw is changed back to alif. And that's why this interchange of alif to waw, waw to alif, and alif to ya, ya to back to alif, it happens, keeps on happening. So you just need to understand that the alif will change either to waw or ya. And in which fail it changes to waw, in which fail it changes to ya, you need to memorize it. So here the waw is changed back to alif, and now you can see that the harf mudare is having a dhamma here. Then as I told, the moment alif come back, so the previous letter will have a corresponding haraka. So that's why the qaf is having a fatha. So the haraka changes along with the weak letters, long vowel. So yuqalu, and the last letter has the same haraka as you can see here with the dhamma. So it becomes yuqalu. Now coming to ba. So the present tense is yabi'u. So here, due to this ya, the alif has been changed to ya here in present tense. What happens if you have a waw or a ya in between in present tense? See, in yaqulu we had waw, and yabi'u we have a ya. So what happens when you're making a majhul? The ya and waw is changed back to alif. So this is what you need to learn and understand. And what happens to ba? The ba have a fatha because of this long vowel. Yuba'u. Now let's do the yasuqu. So first of all, check the weak letter here. Yasuqu. It's here it is wow. So it will obviously change to alif. So it will become yusaqu. It will become yusaqu. So wow will change to alif. The moment you see wow, change to alif. The moment you see ya, change to alif in majhul. So this is what you need to understand. Make a point here that when you make a present tense into majhul and you are making the present tense of some particular kind of verbs. What kind of verb? Ajwaf, fail ajwaf, which have a weak letter in between. So yazuru becomes yuzaru. Yazidu becomes yuzadu, having a dhamma on the harf mudare. Yakhafu becomes you. Any guesses? As I told, this one is an exception. You khafu. It remains alif all along. It remains alif all along. In here also, yukhafu in the present tense and in the majhul. It remains alif in the present tense and in the majhul form. So this is an exception. So all you need to memorize which verb will remain in alif and which verb will change from ya to alif. This is all what you need to keep in mind. So now let's go to the next question, if it's clear. The third one, ayin. Ayin clarify al-af'al al-jawfa. Jawfa is a plural of ajwaf. Fil amthilatil atiya. So you need to pick out the verbs which have a weak letter in between. So keep in mind, you need to memorize the structure of the verb in the majhul. So become bi'at. So now this is the structure we are looking for. Bi'at. Bi'a. So this bi'a is coming from which verb? Ba'a, means to sell. Bi'at. Become bi'at sayyarataka ya Zubair. So someone is asking Zubair, how much you sold your car for? So he says, bi'at, my car is sold for. So this is a passive voice. So you will say, it is sold for. So bi'at asharati alafin riyal. Riyal. So he says it is sold for bi'ashra alaf, 10,000. So now you got your number. It's 10,000. 10,000 riyal he sold his car. So هنا تباع الصحف والمجلات. So how are you going to translate? It is a passive voice and this is a present tense. You need to memorize the structure here actually. The original is ba'a. What do you call the original past tense? Fail mabni lil ma'lum. So this is fail mabni lil ma'lum and this is fail mabni lil majhul. هنا تباع means الصحف. Now this is a passive tense. What comes after passive tense if you see a passive sentence? Naibul file. Naibul file here. How do you know? Dhamma. The maful bihi has taken the place of the file. File is removed. Al majallatu. So this is also, it is an atf and this is also naibul file. So هنا تباع الصحف والمجلات means the newspapers and the magazines are sold here. يقال إن هذه الأرض ستباع بالمزاد. So يقال, we have a failure coming from قال, and this is the present tense majhul. As you can say, fail mudare having a dhamma, then the qaf having a fatha because of this long alif. Inna hazihil arda satuba'u. This is also the fail majhul we are looking for, coming from ba'a. So satuba'u, this is the harf mustaqbal. It will be sold. So how you're going to translate? It will be sold. And yuqalu inna hazihil arda, how are you going to translate? It is said, yeah, it's being said because this is the present tense. Ayuqalu tamru am yuzan. Am yuqalu, coming from the fail kala. Kala means to measure. And tamru is dates. Or yuzan, coming from wa zana. And this is also a kind of verb where it starts with a wow, means a weak letter starts a verb. So these are called differently. And these are the different types of verbs we will do inshallah later in this exercise. Wazana means to weigh. So it is said that how are you going to translate? Ayukalu, at-tamru, this is naibul file. So is the dates weighed or measured or weighed? So this is how you translate. وفي تنزيل, this is an Quranic ayah. وإذا قيل لهم اركعوا لا يركعون. So this is our simple present tense as the harf mudare has a fatanu dhamma. So this is what you need to check. وإذا قيل, so this is our passive tense. lahum. It is said, and when. Iza means when. When it is said to them, irka'u means to bow. La yarka'un, they are not able to bow. So this is from the ayah al-Mursalat, Surah Mursalat. So now let's see the other questions now. Question number 4. تعمل مثال الاسم فاعل المسوغ means now you need to complete this exercise. Make this what are you going to make in these examples? اسم فاعل. So now we are on to making اسم فاعل. How do you make a noun? So ismun file is a noun. And what do you understand by ismun file? Ismun file means the person who is doing the action. For example, hajja. Hajja means to do hajj. But who is doing the hajj? The person who is doing the hajj is called hajjun. So how do you get this structure? How do you get this structure? And now we are talking about a particular kind of verb which has a doubled letter at the end. Doubled letter means the last letter has a shadda. So these kind of verbs are called fail mudaf, coming from the verb atufa, means to add up, means there is a double letter here. So masuh means formed from fail mudaf. So now we will form ismaful. Sorry, I'm so sorry. We are going to make ismun file from what type of verbs? Fail mudaf. These verbs are called fail mudaf. Why? Because the end letter has a shadda. They are doubled overlapped letters. So let's see how we get this structure. So here the original structure is given hajijun, and we don't usually use this structure in our daily writing, but the Arabs have made it a bit easier for us and made it a new structure, and they overlap the two genes together. And to understand the structure, I have prepared on my whiteboard. Let's go and check that first. As I said, the ismun file is made from the fail mudaf. Now you understand what is fail mudaf, the fail which has shadda at the end. The last letter is doubled up. So how does this verb breaks? How do you get the structure? In order to understand that, let's check the structure of the ismun file. The scale we follow to make an ismun file is fa'ilun. All the nouns of ismun file that you make follows this scale, fa'ilun. So this is the scale that you need to memorize. So following this scale, what happens? The letters from the verb follow the structure of fa'ilun. And from this scale, we get from hajja, we get hajijun. This is the original scale actually. This is the original structure, hajijun. But as I told you, Arabs, they did not like to say hajijun, hajijun, the double letter. What they did was from this structure, they took the two genes and they put it together. So I have broken up and showed you to make it easier for you to understand. These two genes were taken together and put together, overlapped together, and they put a shadda over it to tell you that this gene, there are two genes here. And you put a tanween. And this is very important. Now there is a tanween. We got this structure hajijun from the verb hajja. As you can see, the ha, the jim are the same letters we got from the verb. So you get the structure of ismun file. The ismun file, in other words, you can say, is derived from the verb, past tense verb. So the root letters are also shared between them. You can see ha and the jim. And now, even though the letters, the structure you get from the verb, but now it is no longer a verb. It has become a noun. So that's why it took a tanween. And as you know, a noun can only accept tanween. No verbs. You will not see a tanween over a verb. So there shouldn't be any confusion now. So you get the structure. The structure that we use is hajjun. It is very similar to the verb hajja, but there is an elif here, addition of elif here in between. So before, when you did not know the structure, how do you get this structure hajjun, you might have been thinking that from where did this elif came. So now you understood from where we got this elif, from the scale fa'ilun, and how the two genes were overlapped, and how the shadda came in and the tanween. So the elif remained, the two genes got together, we have a shadda and there is a tanween. So this is how we get the structure hajjun. So now let's go and see the other examples. So here we have wanna, means to think. So what can you, like, following the scale of fa'ilun, I will write here. We will follow this scale with tanween fa'ilun. How can you make the structure of wanna? So let's first make the original structure. So it will be wa ni nun. The wa ni nun. So how do we get this structure now? So we have the alif. So yes, we will have the alif. The alif will not go anywhere. What about these two noons? These two noons get overlapped and it becomes one noon. And now we have a shadda and we have a tanween. Now this becomes a noun. So we have one noon. What about marra? Let's make the original structure first. So mim, alif, ma, ri, run. So this ra breaks up and becomes two ra. And we apply the scale. So ma, ri, run. So this kasra of the ain comes here. So we have marirun. And now we will make the scale. So meme and alif remains. What about the two raws becomes one? And we have a shadda and tanween. Marun, the one who passes. Marra, to pass. Dalla, to go astray. So do, li, lun. Following the fa'ilun structure. Then, sorry, this was the original. And I forgot to write it here. Do, li, lun. Now let's see. Dalun. Dal, lam will overlap and we have a shadda and tanween. Dalla means to refer, to show. So now we will do this. Dalilun. Same as dalilun. So it becomes dalun. So that's how we get the structure of all the ismun fa'il from the fail mudaf. Remember, these are the rules for fail mudaf. We have different rules for different kind of fails. Now let's go on and see the next question. We have lot of structures learning in this lesson. So question number 5. Here, what are you going to do? Tamil al-misal. Now here you are going to make examples. Ismun file. So we are still making ismun file, but what kind of verb? From which, what kind of verbs? Masughun min fail ajwaf al-wawi. Now this is another kind of fail we have come across. What kind of fail is this? A fail in between, where in between you will find wow. Before we had fail ajwaf, that means a fail which has an alif in between. But now we came across the second type of fail which has a wow in between. So let's see what kind of fail are these. Qala, zada, sama, and nama. So this is an exception here. And now you will say that it has an alif. Where is the wow? Look at the original structure here. As I said, The original root letter was qawala. It wasn't qala, it was qawala. So when you make ismun file, the original letters come back. And if you see the present tense, there is a presence of wow. So that's why they are called fail ajwaf al-wawi. So how do we get this structure? In order to get this structure, uh, be very careful when you make ismun file from these kind of fail. In order to make ismun file, first you need to make the present tense. Then you go back and make the ismun file on the scale fa'ilun. So as you can see, it is following the scale the fa with the fatha, here qaf alif with a fatha, then ain kasra, wow kasra, lam tanween dammatain, lam tanween dammatain. So it is following the fa'ilun scale, and we don't use this structure actually. So it has been made easier for us. How it has been made easier? Before, what happened? The wow was removed. Similarly here, this letter is removed. And what happens instead of this letter? A hamza comes in. Qailun. Instead of saying qawilun, qawilun, the qailun, the hamza comes in between, and we get the scale qailun, the one who said zara. So first of all, let's see, we will make zavirun, zavirun, and you need to put the wow because this is fail ajwaf al-wawi. That means when you make the scale, the wow has to come. And what will be the scale of our ismun file? Za Irun. The wow will be changed and hamza comes in. So you need to remember in this examples in fail ajwaf wawi, if you can make an important point here, make it that all the fail ajwaf al wawi, those fails which have a wow here. So what kind of fail you're looking here? The qala, the zara, the sama, when they all makes their present tense, the alif is removed and wow comes. So these kind of fail will always make their ismun file with hamza in between. Sama, let's make the original scale. Saw, the saw, wimun. So let's delete sa imun. What about nama? Yanamu. So as I said, if you want to make ismun file from these kind of verbs, first make the present tense. First step to make the ismun file is to make the present tense, then make the original, and then make the ismun file. So this is yanamu. As I said, this is exception because the alif remains here. The alif remains here, doesn't changes to wow. This is an exception. You need to memorize it. So we have navimun, and navimun, where wow is changed and it becomes naimun, naimun, and the masdar means the verbal noun gets a wow in between. That's how we get the wow in the masdar, in the verbal noun. Noun means the sleep. So now let's see the next question here. Let's move on to question number 6. Tamil al-misal li ismun file. Now still we are doing ismun file. We will make ismun file, but from which type of verbs? Let's see. Masughun, formed min al-fail, al-ajwaf, same, al-yai. So now we will do the fails in between ajwaf which has a ya. So those kind of verbs which when you make it into the original scale, it will have a ya instead of a wow. So as you came across this verb, I told you this is also an exception here. This alif will change to ya in present tense. So in order to make ismun file, the first step you need to make the present tense. The second step is to make the original scale. And the third step is to make the ismun file. Following the scale fa'ilun, let's make. So here it is given, the first one. So here now we will do mala. So mala will be ma vilun. It's the same and very is easy. Ma ilun. Ma ilun. Sara sa virun, and we have um, sairun. Hamza. This. Asha awishun. Awishun. So we have aishun. And sala savilun. And now we have sa'ilun. Sa'ilun. So that's how we get our the ismun file. So the structure of the ismun file also is similar here, but these are the fails which changes to ya in the present tense and in the original letter. As you can see here, ba'iyun. And I'm so sorry, I again made a mistake here. It's not wow. It will change to ya actually. So actually I will take a different color here. So it will change to a ya, not mavilun, but it is a mailun, mailun, sairun, and aishun, and sailun. So it will change to ya because we are doing the failed ajwaf al-ya'i. So please check that and don't make a mistake. So now let's check the next question. And we have another set of the fail here. Let's see what kind of fail are these. Tamil al-misal. The same, we are still doing the ismun file, but from which kind of verbs now? We will do it from fail naqis al-wawi. Now, what do you understand by fail naqis al-wawi? Fail naqis al-wawi means that those fails at the end, and you will find something missing or something unusual. What is unusual? It is the wow, letter wow, and it is a weak letter. So basically it means those fail which has a weak letter at the end. And let's see those fails. So it is da. In these kind of verbs, you see the last letter is a weak letter, alif long vowel. So these, when they take, when you change it into their original scale of ismun file, they will change to wow. And then we will come across the new word. If you know about ismanqus. What is ismanqus? So I will explain that first, and then I will come on this scale. So first of all, we understand about ismanqus. It's very easy. It has two simple rules. And what kind of what do you understand by ism manqus? Ism, as you can understand, it's a noun. So we are dealing with a noun in ism manqus. Why I'm explaining ism manqus? Because it is important to understand why the kasratain is coming, why the ya is coming here. So in order to understand this structure, you need to understand the ism manqus. So all the nouns that you come across, like for example, al-da'i, the one who gives da'wah, or al-qadi, qadi means the judge, or al-madi, madi, the past, the past, madi. So all these words you see comes with a ya. So what is the difference? What is this? Why? These are the nouns. Whenever you see, they will come with a ya at the end. So these nouns, when you see they come with a ya at the end, they are called ism manqus. When they are marifa, As you can see, there is lam at-tarif here. Here also, when they are marifa, they will come with a ya. So this is the rule. They will come with a ya. But when these nouns come without lam at-tarif, for instance, qadi, what happens? This is the second rule. The ya gets dropped, deleted, and now it becomes only dad. So when it comes without lam tarif, that means it's a nakira. Ya is also not there. So what happens? The kasra remains. And since it's a nakira, you need to put a kasra there. And this structure comes in existence. Qadin, madin. The ya is dropped and it is no longer marifa. So kasra remains, and due to being its marifa, I'm sorry, due to its becoming a nakira, it will accept the kasra thing, the tanween kasra thing. So that's how this structure comes in, and these types of noun are called ism manqus. So now I think you got the rules of ism manqus. First of all, when they come with lam at-tarif, they come always with a ya. When they are nakira, the ya gets deleted and they come with a tanween kasra 10. This is the second rule. And I repeated, if you can make a note out of it, make a note here in this question that you learned about the ism manqus. Now, coming back to the structure da'iwun. As I told you, the fail which has a long vowel at the end, or a weak letter at the end, I'm sorry, it's a weak letter at the end. When you make the scale of ismun file, the alif changes to waw. And when this waw comes into existence, we don't use this scale, but we use this scale. So this waw is changed to a ya. And when this ya comes, it becomes a da'i. So similarly, and when you remove the lam at-tarif, it becomes da'in. Naja, yanju. So in order to make all these, you should know the present tense. So in present tense also, you see the alif is removed and waw comes in existence. So whenever you want to make ismun file, first of all, first step is to make the present tense, make the original scale, and then make the ismun file. So naja comes as yanju. The alif changes to waw in present tense. So let's make this na ji vun. The waw comes back. Na ji vun. Now we will make the ismun file. It's an-naji. Na ji. Jim kasra ya. This is an-naji. So when you make it into nakira, what happens? The ya is deleted. There is no longer lam at-tarif. So what is the najin? Najin. So it becomes najin. Afa, ya'fu. So now let's make afiwun. Afiwun. So now we will make it al-afi. Al-afi. And now you want to make nakira afin. Afin. Tala, let's see. Ta'liwun. Ta'liwun. And now we'll make a tali with the ya and talin. So that's how you get the structure. All these what you have made here are all is manqus. Let's move on to the next question and let's see what are these kind of verbs here. So Tamil al-misal al-ismun file. Still we are making ismun file. Al-masur formed from. Now this is a different kind of verb. What are these kind of verb? Fail naqis. What is fail naqis? Those verbs which have a weak letter at the end. So here, what is the weak letter? The alif maksura. So this is the exception here. And when you make an original scale on ismun fa'ilun, the ya comes back. So here the ya comes in. Instead of wow, the ya comes in. So let's see, in these type of fail, what are we going to do is saqa, yasqi. First step to make the present tense. Second step is to make the scale as-saqi. So this is also ismun qus. And your ismun file, the third step becomes saqin. So this is your ismun file. This is the scale that we use. We don't use as-saqi, but we use saqin. Then hada yahdi. So al-hadi. So this is easy. And we have hadin. Zana yazni. You can see the coming back of ya. So now we have al azani. Zani. Ni with a ya, and then zanin. You can use both of them, but this is how the structure comes in. Zanin. Bana yabni. Then we have al bani. Bani. And we have banin. Baka al baki. Al-Baki. So we have Al-Baki here and we have Bakin. Nasiya, Yansa. So we have An-Nasi. And we have Nasin. So this is how you get the structures. Now we come to question number 9. Suh means form. Asma al-fa'ilin. Asma al-fa'ilin, it is the plural. Min al-af'al al-atiya, in all these coming fails. Uzkur now. You have to mention the type. Kullu fail minha ala nahu. On which type it is made, and you need to make a column. First of all, you need to put all the fails, then you need to give the type of the fail, and then you have to make the ismun file from the fail, and then you need to give the original scale also. So let's do this on the whiteboard. So here are the answers of all the verbs here, and let's see. So it's hajja. Now if you see the last letter, it's the jim. So when you see the last letter jim with shadda, know that it's mudaf. So it's now the type is mudaf and its ismun file will be hajjun. So this is all what you have to memorize, and after memorizing it will be inshallah very clear to you. And always remember the original scale hajijun. From hajijun you get hajjun. Jalasa, it's as-sahi. Why is it called as-sahi? Actually, these names, when you come at the last page of this lesson, you will have a table on all types of verbs, and there you will find all these names. So I will just explain why are they called as-sahi or hamza, al-mahmuz, al-fa, what does they mean. So as-sahi is means in this verb, do you find any hamza? Or do you find any weak letter? If you don't, then that verb is a sahih. So jalasa doesn't have hamza, doesn't have the waw or the long vowel alif or the weak letter alif maksura or the ya. So it's a sahih. And making it on the ismun file fa'ilun jalisun. So you have the original scale. We use this scale only, jalisun. Akala. Now, what is this type of verb? Do you have a hamza? Yes. And where is it? It is on the first letter. So you know when you learn the sarf, there is or the triliteral verb in sarf has 3 letters. The fa, the ain, and the lam. So in English we call it fa radical, the ain radical, and the lam radical. But in Arabic you say fa al fail, ain al fail, lam al fail. So fa is the first letter, ain the second letter, and the lam is the third letter. So here Mahmuz, al Mahmuz name comes from Hamza. It's Hamza. So why is it called Al-Mahmuz, the one which has a Hamza? But where is the Hamza? Alfa. That's why it gets the name Al-Mahmuz Alfa. That means the first letter has a Hamza in it. So this verb, this kind of verb is called Mahmuz Alfa. Qara'a. Now there is a Hamza, but where is it? On the third letter. So that's why it calls Al-Mahmuz Al-Lam, because it is on the third letter. Waqafa. Now what kind of verb is this waqafa? Um, Now let me explain about the Mahmuz Al-Fa and Lam, and then I will come to this verb with waw. I forgot to mention the types. So now in this verb, what is the scale? Aqilun. So this Hamza has a long mud over it. Aqilun. Why? Because as you remember, the scale is fa'ilun. Sorry, it's single kasra. So when you put the letters Hamza plus this alif, what will happen to both of them? And then kaf and lam. What will happen to both the Hamza and the alif? They become together and the sound increases. So it has a mud over it. Akilun. And that's how you get the word akilun. And we use the scale both. It's the same. Qara'a, Mahmuz al-Lam, you find the Hamza on the Lam radical. Qari'un. So why is this ya coming? This is not, it's not a ya. It's not also related with the spelling. It's just a seat on which the Hamza sits. So when it has a fatha, it comes with an alif. But what happens here? So first of all, let's apply the scale. So qara'a gets qari'un. So the last letter Hamza is sitting on an alif. This is the seat of Hamza. Now it has taken the seat of the ya. Why? Because before it was a kasra. So it came with kasra, I mean the ya seat, and it's sitting on it with the Hamza is sitting on this seat with a dhammatain. So it's qari'un. So this ya should not confuse you. It's not nothing to do with the spelling, or it's nothing. It's just the seat of Hamza. Our main letter is Hamza with tanween, not this seat. This is just the seat on which the Hamza sits, and the seat changes from alif to waw to ya because of the harakat, previous harakat, or the harakas on the Hamza. So now let's come to the verb waqafa. Now what kind of verb is this? This is the waw, and it is coming on the fa radical. That's why it's called al-mithal. When the weak letter comes on the fa radical, it is called mithal al-waw. So now waqafa we will make waqifun, and we use the scale waqifun. It's very easy using the scale fa'ilun. Shaqqa, this is also mudaf. Al-mudaf shaqqun, and you know how it is done. These two kafs come together and shadda is given and tanween. Taba, now what kind of fail is this? There is an alif in between. It is fail ajwaf. So, and it becomes how it is called ajwaf al-waw. Remember the present tense. Always remember the present tense. Taba, it's yatubu. Yatubu. So as you see, the alif is changed to waw. That's why it is called ajwaf al-wawi, because this alif is going to change into waw in present tense. So And we have the original scale as tawibun. So we remove this waw and a hamza comes in between. Ta'ibun. Ghaba. So what is this called? Al ajwaf al yai. Why it is yai? Remember the present tense. Ghaibun. Sorry. Yaghub. Yaghibu. So ya comes in. Yaghibu. So here you have the original scale ghaibun, and we remove the ya and the hamza comes in ghaibun. Then again shafa. So we have a weak letter at the end. So the weak letter when it comes at the end, it is called an-naqis. Naqis means something missing or something unusual at the end. So remember the present tense raja yarju, it changes to wow. That's why it is called naqis al-wawi. So what is the scale? Rajivun. So we change the wow and we have the ismanqus araji or rajin. And I think I missed this. Sorry, shafa. This is naqis al-ya'i because in the present tense it will change to yashfi. 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 That's why it's called naqis al-yai. Yashfi. So you have your scale shafiyun. So we will change this ya and make ashafi. This is also isman qus and shafin. The last of all, not the least, we have, I explained the raja and we have sa'ala. So it is a hamza but in between. So it's called al-mahmuz al-ain. And here we had al-mahmuz al-fa because the hamza came on the fa radical. But here where did the hamza come? On the ain radical. So it is called al-mahmuz al-ain. Sa'ala. So we have sa'ilun and it should be the hamza with a kasra sa'ilun following the scale fa'ilun, and we have the similar scale sa'ilun. So this is what it's all the about the fails. And remember the fail here, it takes the name according to the letters present in them. For example, if the hamza comes in the fa first letter, it's called al mahmuz al fa. If the hamza comes in between, it's called mahmuz al ain. If the hamza comes at the end, for example qara'a, it becomes mahmuz al lam. So here also, if the alif changes to waw, it's called ajwaf wawi. If it changes to ya, it's called ajwaf al ya'i. And if the last letter has a weak letter, for example here yashfi, if it changes to ya, it's called naqis. So the verbs which have a weak letter at the end, they have their names a naqis. And if it changes to ya in present tense, it will be naqis al-ya'i. And if it changes to waw, for example yarju at the end, it will be called naqis al-wawi. So that's how they get their name, and you will find this table at the end of the lesson in the book. So inshallah, I end up my video with this question, and I will make the another video with the question number 10 till the end, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.